Today's video is a follow-up of sorts to a prior video where I reacted to fashion blogger and luxury YouTuber LYDIA Elise Millen's recent breakup with luxury fashion. Now this video is by no means a deep dive on her. We've already done that video and you can peruse that at your leisure. I've been thinking a lot about my own relationship with fashion, consumerism, and what luxury means to me. And spoiler alert, it's changed a lot. And so I wanted to use this video as a bit of an opportunity to deep dive into this changing thought process. Now, in the past, I've loved, and I still love, fashion and beautiful things. But fast forward to now, I, amongst many others, have had their priorities shifted more towards experiences over items. I no longer feel the need to chase these items or prove myself in the acquisition of these items. Not to mention the fact that there is also the cost of living crisis that we're living through, rapid inflation, global instability, and even the personal safety element that has completely reframed what feels worth it when it comes to buying luxury. And at this stage in my life, I'd much rather curate than accumulate. I myself have noticed a drastic slowdown in the amount of items that I'm buying. I don't really even do hauls anymore. I think the first haul that I've done has been like basically halfway into this year. You've definitely seen that shift, as well as just the general tide turning in culture. But for me, I'm definitely finding that I am way more conscientious as a consumer. And I know at this point in time, a lot of you might be thinking, well, Mel, is this just riding a wave of bloggers and creators who are making these announcements? I mean, for me, I have always made videos about my changing attitudes towards buying luxury fashion. I have some deeply personal events happen to me and shifts in perspectives that have happened over a longer period of time that have instigated this desire, I suppose. So the first incident, as some of you may be aware, I had a theft incident happen during a house move. Some movers actually from Anyvan, because I'm gonna name and shame. Just in case any of you out there are considering them for a house move, just don't. They use deceptive tactics and obviously a huge violation of privacy, if I'm being quite honest. People were trying to rifle through my things at my old home, at my new home, touching things that weren't even theirs to move. And overall, it's just a horrible feeling, isn't it? Especially when you're moving house, when everything is already so volatile and so up in the air and stressful, to have this on top of it. And obviously the repercussions of that around auditing your items, making sure everything is there and accounted for, making sure that you speak to your police, your insurers, your lawyers, all of that business. You know, this house is basically Fort Knox now. I've really had to ramp up the security, not just at home, but also when I travel as well, traveling in London, no less. I'm not even talking about traveling abroad. Actually, traveling abroad and visiting countries that a lot of people would typically associate with crime, they have actually been the safest, ironically enough. It's the UK, namely London, that has been the most dangerous, whereby suddenly the joy of owning something so wonderful was outweighed by the stress of protecting it. And while I've always talked and been open about my desire and plan to leave the UK, obviously I will make sure during this transitional time that I am still able to enjoy and protect the things that I've worked very hard in my life to accumulate. It is absolutely insane that this is something that is being co-signed on by the lack of government and policy changes that need to happen. Is absolutely a joke. And so when I think about buying something new, I definitely think twice about it. And I also think, can I get rid of something else that's valuable that I don't use to make space for it? Not just for financial means and decluttering, but also so that I don't continually add very valuable real estate and surface area in addition to all the other stresses that I have. In that vein, the theft in the home, which I believe is classed actually as a burglary, is something that really shook me up, because that meant somebody had the inside knowledge of my home or was just physically in my space, and I treated those movers very well. They were even tipped as well, which I find so disgusting after the fact. And look, I get that this is a first world problem to a degree, but it's still a crime that happened. I don't expect to get sympathy from the internet whatsoever, and I'm super grateful for those of the people that did try and help this investigation, because as some of you will know, my item went even online. We should not be co-signing on criminal activity, and the fact that this is happening in this country And I guess that kind of segues nicely into my second point, which is around decluttering and just slowing down my purchases. Clearing out my wardrobe is something that I find quite therapeutic. It's very powerful. I feel like I have a lot more control over my life and my surface area. I'm personally moving towards more of a one in, one out rule for big ticket purchases. So if I'm buying a handbag now, I'm keeping it well under 20 handbags. I've listed a few as well, and it just feels like I'm really contributing also to a more circular, sustainable economy, which allows me to definitely buy things that I love a lot more. That also makes it a lot more guilt-free because I'm essentially using the same funds to repurchase items that I do love, that I have thought long and hard about, and of the items that I found were maybe duplicative or that I just don't love anymore, they are going to and have been rehomed to those that will love it a lot better and get much more value out of it. And I think moving house was one of the most humbling things and methods of doing that, to see the sheer amount of stuff that I had. It was something that needed to be done, and it's very cathartic, I would say, to go and purge all of your stuff. I had a lot of things that were also donated to charity as well, which is something that I'm also very passionate about privately, and I'm really glad that I can contribute in that way. And of course, in the decluttering process, you realize actually how little of the items that you have that you use. And I believe there's a saying to the effect of you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time. And obviously I have special pieces in my wardrobe, special handbags, accessories, shoes and whatnot. Many that you can see behind me that obviously I'm not going to wear every day, but I love so much. But of the pieces that I don't love so much and don't wear so much, I am learning to let go. And it honestly just feels so much better to have a collection that is curated, worn, loved and appreciated, rather than just collecting dust. And I just want to curate classic items that resonate with my personality, that free me also from the need to keep up with trends or peers. I think I've gotten beyond that point. I never really followed trends much at all. Viewers out there, especially in the younger demographic, it feels like you need to be chasing the next high, be on to the next thing to keep up and be trendy and cool. I've gotten to an age now where I just don't care, and I'd much rather build a collection of things that I authentically love, not what other people love for me, because ultimately it's my money that's going towards it, so it should please no one else but myself. I definitely feel like I've become a lot more selective and conscious in my purchases. I think having a variety of content and to remind viewers that life is more than just your things is very important. And while I have cut down on luxury a lot, I think there will be a part of me that always enjoys it. For various reasons that I've talked about in the past, I enjoy it on my own terms now. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with loving fashion or beautiful things, but it's not my whole identity. I think if there are creators that are just only exclusively talking about luxury and that is the depth of their personality, that's quite sad. With that in mind, I've become very conscious of when I'm buying for a brand versus the actual style, if I'm buying for Instagram or reality, whether I'm doing it for the retail therapy versus actual self-care. These are obviously questions that I think a lot of us kind of muddle through life and figure out in due course. And I definitely count myself as one of the lucky ones who curated the collection early, got the pieces that I wanted when they were reasonably priced. So I feel like a lot of the luxury basics I have already in the collection, and classics as well. I have a distinct sense of style. It's very personal to me. I'm not wearing anyone else's skin. I'm not chasing after trends. And ultimately, getting the luxury isn't the end goal. Feeling good is. Feeling your most confident is. And that's ultimately what building and curating a beautiful collection is about. It's almost like if it was an art gallery and I'm walking through and it's a story of me, a lot of these pieces will signify that. I feel like it's worth making a nod to the influencer side of the house, because obviously I did make a video about LYDIA, ELISE, MILLEN, and she made a big to-do about her breaking up with luxury, which honestly was clickbait and is not true, right? Because she's pivoting away from luxury fashion, but she's still accepting more high-end or arguably designer collaborations. She's still buying hauls and things, so she's still consuming, but it's just different or on her own terms. And that duality is okay, totally fine, especially when you're self-employed and this is your job. Just be honest. And I've always endeavored and will continue to endeavor to be very upfront, open and transparent with you. Luxury when it's convenient isn't a new idea, but I feel like as creators, we owe transparency to our audience. They've only ever shown you things that I authentically love and use. And if I'm not in love with the item or I'm not in love with the brand, I wouldn't even talk about it in the first place, let alone make posts and things about it to promote it, you know. And the credibility that I have with you guys and the bond that we have, the relationship is so important. You can't buy that. You can't buy authenticity. And I think in a lot of people's luxury breakup journey, it seems a little bit conceited and it seems fake. And really the proof is in the pudding. I mean, if you're pivoting away from luxury, then stop making hauls, you know, stop consuming this much altogether. So when it comes to influence, I do think they have a responsibility to say what they mean and mean what they say. I don't buy in the same way that I used to, and I'm really happy with that. It comes with the territory, comes with the age as well. But if there is something I like, then I'll definitely share it with you. And if it's gone wrong, it's failed, I will also share that with you. I am never going to say to you, I'm going to be breaking up with luxury, because that's just not true. If I like something, I'm going to buy it, and I don't want to have to explain myself and be a hypocrite, because I'm realistic and people can change their minds. It's a part of my life that I worked really hard for and I'm proud of, and I don't care if other people have opinions about it. I'll just move somewhere and find my other people that do like it, because you're not buying it yourself. But if other people like it, so what? But if you're the person saying you're breaking up with luxury, then break up. Don't just go long distance. Now, well, luxury for me now is definitely a choice. It's freedom, and it's the peace of mind to pick items that I truly love, that I use and are heirlooms to me and are a sliver of my personality, if you will. But ultimately, luxury is more than the fashion, it's more than the things. It's an amazing trip, it's a great meal, it's good health, it's quality time with the people that I love, and not using other things to paper over something that is maybe unhealed or broken. There was obviously a point in my life where I used luxury as a bit of a cope, or as just something fanciful just to distract and to keep up with the Joneses. And I feel like, especially for younger viewers, that is a very appealing way of life, especially as you're figuring out your personality and your style. But for those of you out there that are in that younger demographic, just know that it's okay not to have the latest thing. Invest in what makes you feel good, not just what looks expensive, because there will never be a time where you are one and done. There will always be the next shiny object, and frankly, you are better than chasing that high. And also just be a discerning viewer when it comes to people promoting that lifestyle, and if they overly push that, just ask yourself why that is. And do you believe that is a life that makes them happy and would therefore make you happy? You have so much more to give to the world than just your things. Will I always have a love for luxury? Yeah, probably. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's my money, it's my life, my rules, right? But it's not everything about me. And I've realized that luxury is kind of the means to an end. It is an enabler of the lifestyle that I want to create, and it showcases who I am, but not all of who I am. This is just a new chapter. I think I'll always blend high and low fashion, and I will always keep sharing what I love. So I would absolutely love to know down in the comments below, have your feelings about fashion or luxury changed over the past year or past few years? And do you feel like the world is moving away from constant buying and consumerism to something a lot more sustainable? Or do you think this is just a phase? But anyways, thank you as always for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one.